Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun video we are back in the model train and nostalgia room looking at another HO scale train set. So really cool. The last time we looked at a train set, we looked at the beautifully detailed collector's train that was the HO scale Boy Scouts of America train, and you can see it there displayed on the shelf. The whole consist lines up there on the shelf for display purposes for people to be able to view it and enjoy it. The train set I'm going to show you in today's video is new to me, and I picked it up back in March at the annual train show and sale up at Mebane, North Carolina. If you guys remember, we did a video up there documenting that event. I documented the setup day and then the show day itself, both the Friday and the Saturday, for a featured video over here on the platform. And on the day of the show, I was walking around trying to find a good deal on a train set to hopefully where I could bring it home, film it, and bring it to the platform. And that is the subject of today's video. And the train set that I'm going to be showing you is a NASCAR racing themed set. And that's what really drew me to the set. I walked around the show floor several different times, and I always came back and my eyes were drawn to it. And ultimately, I did pick it up. NASCAR was a huge part of my childhood. I remember going to church with my grandparents and my mom, and when we would come back home and have lunch and change into our lounge clothes, you know, coming back home, you changed out of your church clothes into your play clothes, you know, and then we would sit in front of the TV and we would watch NASCAR racing. Now, our favorite NASCAR driver was and still is the late Dale Earnhardt Sr. That was just the guy we pulled for. He's from North Carolina. You know, he was just a blue-collar individual that made it big in NASCAR racing. But there was another iconic car on the track that some of my family pulled for, and that was the 28 Texaco car, and that is the theming of the train set that I have picked up here. Here it is in the box that I picked it up in. You can see there is all of the HO scale train cars and train itself. Again, this is the box it came in. And as you see here, it says 95th Anniversary Texaco Set. $40, that is US currency. And I actually knew the guy that was the vendor selling this train, and I'm like, hey buddy, can you give me any kind of better deal on that? Anytime you're at a train show, you try to haggle and get a good deal, just like if you're at a flea market or a yard sale or things like that. And he said, for you, because he knew me, he said, for you buddy, $25, that is US currency. I happily paid that, and then I brought it home and put it on my test track, and I was even happier because the train started moving backwards and forwards, and then I put the train set on the train table and it immediately done a few laps. So I was very happy with that. But what we're going to do is look at all of the pieces here in the box, and then we're going to get it on the train table itself, and you guys are going to watch the train set do a few laps. Again, the number 28 Texaco car was an iconic paint scheme back in the day for NASCAR racing, and there was a lot of famous drivers that drove the number 28 car, including the late Davey Allison, Ernie Irvan, the late Kenny Irwin Jr., Ricky Rudd, and Dale Jarrett, just to name a few. Now, I know there has been different numbers for the Texaco car, you know, but those are just the primary drivers for the number 28 version of the number 28 Texaco motor oil car. And this train set here, I did a little bit of research. Again, as the name tag said, celebrates the 95th anniversary of the Texaco company, so that would have been the years 1902 to 1997. So in 97, I'd have been about 8 or 9 years old, give or take. But I'm going to hold up each of the pieces here, and then we will get it on the track. We are going to begin with the beautifully detailed diesel streamlined locomotive here. Nice red, yellow, and black paint scheme that is iconic for a Texaco. Has the headlamp on it, and the headlamp does work. You can see the coupler on the front and the back, but a very nice paint scheme, and it has 1997 back there by the vent on the back. Then we have a Texaco Havoline Racing boxcar, again with a nice bright paint scheme on it, and the doors do open and close. And a lot of people will have the doors open or closed on their layouts. I have noticed that. So beautifully detailed on both sides. Nice bright colors. And then we have a flat car here that says Texaco Trailer Train, and it has this little indentation piece on the top to hold the actual trailer that would haul the motor oil or the NASCAR car itself, and the back doors on it do open. So really cool. And there you see it can properly ride on it, or if you wanted to just set the trailer around on your layout somewhere, you totally have that option as well. But the train is strong enough to pull this with all of the loads on it. Then we have a Another flat car that says Texaco 1997 Houston, Texas on it, and it has these two little boxes on it. And to my knowledge, they cannot be off. They do not come off of the trailer. I could probably pop them off if I wanted to, but I like them displayed like this. The white one says Havoline Extended Life Antifreeze and Coolant. The black one says URSA Premium TDX Diesel Engine Oil. Really neat. Then we have a tanker car, of course, Texaco oil and everything. It says Clean Systems Gasoline, Clean Systems 3, and it has a nice silver paint scheme there with, again, some beautiful logos on it. And then what train consists would be complete without a nice caboose. So we have a nice caboose painted up in the Texaco colors, and then we have the Texaco logo there, and it says quality since 1902, as I said, the 95th anniversary. So the back of the train has 1902, and then the train itself has 1997, and it even has the little smokestack on the caboose. I know that is a common piece that usually gets broken off when train sets are put in boxes or stored away or moved from place to place. So I'm happy that it is on there. But that is all the pieces with the 95th anniversary set for the Texaco train set. What I'm going to do now is take the camera off of the tripod and get all of the train consist on the track. We're going to turn the power on and let it do a few laps on the model train table. And that, my friends, is going to about wrap up today's video. Thank you all for following along as we looked at the 95th anniversary of the Texaco Motor Oil and Havoline Company and the racing set that it is themed to. Once again, NASCAR racing was a huge part of my childhood growing up. I always remember watching that iconic black number 3 driven by the late, great Dale Earnhardt Sr., you know, going around the track, winning championships and everything. But of course, the number 28 Texaco Havoline car was right in there behind him, jockeying for position. So I'm really happy to have that train set to represent the NASCAR stuff in the model train and nostalgia room. And when I'm not running it, it will go over here on the display shelves for people to view it and enjoy it. Just like out in the workshop, I'm constantly changing stuff around on the model train table, you know, just trying to make it look as realistic and fanciful as possible, if that makes any sense. So I'm continually swapping out trains, letting them get some laps in, get some runtime in, so to speak. And speaking of runtime, I let the Amtrak set run on the train set beside the Texaco set in today's video. But you might have noticed that I did not have the Amtrak train itself on the track. I originally put it on the track, but it seemed to be slipping the wheels and it didn't want to pull the Amtrak cars. So I grabbed my blue Conrail train that my buddy up in New York, Robert, sent me. And that is one of the most powerful engines in my HO scale train fleet. And no matter what I put behind it, that train is capable of pulling it. So it's always great to use that train to have a lot of motion on the train table, you know, and that's good for taking pictures, video clips, and videos like you have viewed here today. And also, if you noticed on the train table itself, as the trains was going by, I have started placing some HO scale people around on the buildings and where I felt they would be appropriate. Now, they are very minute. They're about as big as my thumbnail, so they're very small and very hard to spot unless you are right up on it. But maybe you guys seen some of them. I found some cleaning up, doing some spring cleaning, and I've just been dotting them around the layout, again, where I felt they would be appropriate, you know, with dabs of super glue and everything, just to make the model train table look as lifelike and as active as possible, like it is a real miniature world that people come and go and live in. But I'm really happy with this train set. I felt that I got a great deal with it for $25. That is US currency again. Originally it was marked at $40 up at the train show in Mebane this past March, but I was able to haggle a little bit, you know, and get it for $25. And before I filmed this video, I did a little bit of research and I found that that train set, fully complete in the box, keep that in mind. Now, if it was in the box with all the plastic, the inserts like the cardboard, the styrofoam, the track, the power adapter, and the instructions, a fully complete train set like we just looked at is going for a big chunk of change. So I'm happy that I got it for a good deal, even though I don't have the original box, the track it came with, or the power adapter. You know, I'm just happy that I have it and it runs phenomenally on the model train table to where I can put it on there whenever the mood strikes me and it can get some laps in. But I'm always looking for a good deal, like when it comes to the model trains or anything else that I like to collect with the Swiss Army knives, the retro video games, or Hot Wheels cars, or things like that in general. And I want to continually thank you guys for continuing to ask about the model train and nostalgia room. I am primarily known as a scroll saw woodworking artist, and that is the primary feature of the channel on the Monday scroll saw project videos. You guys continue to comment down in the videos below and reach out on social media and ask me about my other interest and what's going on in the model train and nostalgia room and things like that. And it means the world to me that you guys are interested about my other interest other than woodworking. So thank you all, as always, for following along on all the journeys, on all of the social media feeds. Again, it means the world to me. And I'm still having fun in the model train and nostalgia room. You know, whenever I take a break, I'm able to let the trains go down the line, paint a model, work on a model train. I know now I'm going to have to look at the HO scale Amtrak train, but you know, that's just the nature of the hobby. You are always tinkering and working on something, and that is why I think I personally am drawn to it, because a model train layout is never fully complete. But once again, in today's video, we looked at the 95th anniversary of the Texaco Havoline Motor Oil Company and Racing Team. And those years were from 1902 to 1997. Again, in 1997, I'd have been 8 or 9 years old, give or take. But really, really cool. Thank you all for following along. That's about all for this one. And if you're new to the channel, hopefully you'll click that subscribe button and follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social media feeds will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one. And remember, guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you guys. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.